listening to What the Truck. Oh, it's great to be back in the driver's seat with you right now, Dooner. Hey, Chad Prevost coming live to you. Dooner, it's great to have you back in the Noog.
Woo, yeah, man. Trip down to Boston, brought the family out here, had the moving truck, 20-foot U-Haul, which, fortunately, I did not have to drive. I drove I drove a Prius V all the way here with my wife and my dog. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law drove the U-Haul. Thank you to them very much.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, my parents flew with the kids. They had the easiest job.
Well, you could only hold them off so long. Hey, now the whole family's back. It's great to have you back.
I was going to say a lot of stuff has happened while we've been gone. We've acquired businesses, and we'll get to that in the headlines. But I mean, just a lot of moving parts. This is a jam-packed episode, guys. Have a happy Fourth and a happy and safe 4th of July. Don't shoot your handguns in the air. That piece of advice we gave you. But Chad, before we get to that, what do we got to do?
We've got to pay some bills.
That's right, Chad. This episode of What the Truck is brought to you by TruckStop.com, the world's most trusted load board. Want to find the best carriers at the best rates? See market data, build relationships, and grow your business with TruckStop.com. Visit TruckStop.com today for more information.
California hits Anheuser-Busch with $500,000 fine for violating air pollution laws.
That's a lot of cans to redeem. Get that.
Yeah, it's a few. The California...
Would that be 5 million? I'm not that good at math. Would that be 5 million empty beer cans?
At least. The California Air Resources Board, CARB, which is a great abbreviation, they levied this $500,000 fine against Anheuser-Busch for violating the state's very strict air pollution laws. And this was just recently announced. The brewing company's California fleet is, based in San Diego.
By SeaWorld.
According to a CARB press release, the St. Louis-based brewer failed to properly inspect 19 diesel trucks as required by the periodic smoke inspection program to ensure they met state smoke emission standards. And in addition, CARB staff discovered that Anheuser-Busch was not in compliance with the state's truck and bus diesel emissions rule because it failed to meet required compliance deadlines. Oh, dude.
Wow. So are those super strict? Is it easy to fail this? Or other carriers at risk? Obviously, they want to send a message here, picking a big shipper like Anheuser-Busch.
Probably fairly strict. Probably it's more of like an enforcement thing, sort of like speeding in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? Strict speed limit rules, but very rarely enforced.
Very rarely enforced. All right. But they did send the message out there, and that is, $500,000 fine? For Anheuser-Busch, probably not that much. Illinois, though, so people are going to be spending more money on the gas tax. So Illinois leads the way with the biggest diesel tax increase on July 1st. July 1st marked a significant day for increased diesel taxes as 2 of the country's biggest states implemented higher levies while inflation or previously approved staged increases affect prices in several other states. The biggest jump by far came in Illinois. The diesel tax more than doubled. Yeah, it's up 24 cents. Yeah, so now it's at 45.5 cents per gallon from 21.5 cents per gallon, which, in Boston, where I just was, they're debating a gas tax to pay for the tea, and they're only looking at putting 1 cent per gallon on the gas tax.
Taxes
and that
are tough.
There's just the word tax, and it doesn't matter the amount. You put tax behind anything. It could be a penny. It could be 25% tariff. It can be any. People are going to start arguing, and they're going to start arguing hard. Ohio, they also increased their diesel tax by 19 cents. So then the levy in the Buckeye State now stands at 47 cents. So it's the first increase since 2005.
Probably hurts truckers more than anybody else. They're using the most fuel.
Yeah.
Well, big deal in the food and beverage distribution game, Dooner. 2 large private carriers are set to combine as Performance Food Group announced that it has entered into an agreement to acquire Reinhardt Food Service in a $2 billion deal. Yeah. Rice Holdings was 4th on the Transport Topics Top 100 private carriers list in 2018 with 5,400 tractors, 800-ish trucks, 1,250 pickup cargo vans, and 6,600 trailers. It trailed only...
a partridge in a pear tree.
It trailed only PepsiCo, Cisco, and Walmart. PFG was 10th on the same list with, a whole bunch of tractors, trucks, and trailers. Just believe me. PFG believes that the deal will result in approximately $30 billion in annual net sales.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, especially in that industry, it's not a huge, vast area. It's a little bit more specialized than some of the other ones we look at. So, yeah. I mean, a move like that, it's just more consolidation is eating the world up, man. U.S. Senators, so this one got people fired up on our site, and we'll get to it on Comment Section Rodeo, but U.S. Senators proposed a 65-mile-per-hour truck speed limiters. A proposal to limit the speed of heavy trucks to 65 miles per hour earlier this year by truck safety groups has been taken up by 2 U.S. senators. The Cullum-Owings Large Truck Safe Operating Speed Act of 2019.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they acronized that. Introduced on June 27th by Johnson Isaacson, Republican in Georgia, and Chris Coons, he's a Democrat of Delaware, would require new commercial trucks weighing over 26,000 pounds to be equipped with speed limiters set at a maximum speed of 65 miles per hour. Existing trucks that already have this technology installed will be required to set their speed limit to 65 miles per hour, while those without speed limiters would not be required to install the technology retroactively to be grandfathered in. Here's what they had to say about it. The majority of trucks on our roads already have speed limiting technology built in, and the rest of the technological advanced world have already put them in use to ensure drivers follow safety protocols. This was from Isaacson. This legislation would officially enforce a long-awaited speed limit of 65 miles per hour in larger trucks and reduce the number of preventable fatalities on our busy roadways. But I gotta ask, if you can only go 65, isn't that going to limit? Does that limit acceleration at all for passing and for getting around?
Get out of my highway space, right? People like Hyperloop can't come fast enough.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Just put me in a Hyperloop or put my cargo in it.
Well,
I don't know,
man. Some big internal news, Chad. Take that away for us. Let's get out of the headlines with this one.
FreightWaves acquires American Shipper.
American Shipper.
That has been the very big news of the week. Yes, FreightWaves.
Woo!
Us.
Wow.
The leading source of news data and insights for freight markets.
Even more leading now.
Right. We've acquired American Shipper. They also were a leading news publication, especially to that global shipper community. Mm-hmm. They were founded by David A. Howard, first published in May 1974. Going way back, Dooner.
Way back machine. Before I was around.
And is designed to serve the information needs of shippers, carriers, and third parties involved in international transportation, and for executives managing international logistics and supply chains, of course. And here's the quote from Craig Fuller, our CEO. Mm-hmm. American Shipper has served as the voice of beneficial cargo owners, BCOs, and shippers worldwide for the past 45 years. Its editorial team is first-rate and provides context for the global shipping community that is unmatched by any publication in the market. So that is we've got some writers from American Shipper joining us. It's a very exciting day.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet them. I come from that 3PL world, that 4PL world, working with shippers quite a bit. So it's exciting to me to bring into the fold American Shipper. It's a publication I read avidly, But one of the things I'm happy that we're going to see is that it seems like American Shipper has always kind of looked at their digital newsprint as like a magazine, For some reason, they thought like digital had to be magazine instead of sort of articleized. They do that they do that digital magazine version, and it seems that's kind of what happens. I think when some of these legacy media groups try to transition. So I think that I think FreightWaves. Hopefully, we can use some of our new market know-how and some of this tribal knowledge. Especially the man who just walked into the booth who's going to tell us a very interesting story about fireworks. But you got to be happy. Henry Byers, market expert of FreightWaves.
Welcome, Henry Byers.
How's it going, guys?
You excited about American Shipper?
Absolutely.
That's huge, right?
Absolutely.
You're an American Shipper yourself.
I am.
We come from that other side of the world where we deal a lot with shippers and 3PLs and 4PLs. So, and American Shipper's always been a voice to that group and to that community, just as kind of we have been to the carrier community. And as we expand outward, I think this really helps the FreightWaves universe cover the totality of the supply chain. And, some other publications behind paywalls may need to be a little scared.
Because we're going beyond the wall. But, one of the things you're here to tell us about, it is Independence Day. And you have a fascinating deep dive for us.
Mm-hmm. Let's do a focus on fireworks for the 4th of July in the Byzantine world associated with them. All right, so you have a story coming out on Independence Day. It's about a It's about a strange world of fireworks. A trade coming out. We hear about fireworks. We know a lot of them come from China, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think your article says about 94%, with the next closest one being like Israel. And if we had to rely on like Israeli fireworks, we'd be screwed because it's like 1.6%, right? Like,
but 70% of this 94% runs through one man.
Yeah, one man. And it seems like this one man probably makes more money shipping fireworks than firework manufacturers do making or selling them.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
Yeah.
Tell us about this expose
what did you
of
learn?
Mr. Ding.
Yeah, Mr. Ding, it's an interesting story that they say that, 70% of the overall U.S. containerized imports of fireworks are controlled by him on both sides through 2 logistics companies.
Wow. And the big deal with that is, right, until 2008, you used to be able to send fireworks wherever you wanted. You could just point your Roman candle whichever way you wanted to go and send it off out into the world.
And they were cheaper.
But then something happened, right? There's a giant explosion in 2008, which really changed restrictions and seemed to be a big boon for this Mr. Ding character.
Yeah, absolutely. And without going, in too much detail for my deep dive, he was one of the only people after that explosion that was able to obtain a permit. One of 3 people, and the Chinese officials mandate that he move to Liuyang, China, which has been making fireworks for, estimated over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And from there, he established a logistics company and kind of dominated that region, which, the Hunan province is known for fireworks. And so he kind of controls all the manufacturer's logistics process.
That control has really changed the pricing architecture of how fireworks are shipped, because as you and I both know, a container to the West Coast from Shanghai volleys anywhere from 1,200 to, in bad times, maybe 3,800 really bad. Usually sits around 22, 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
But around that, but a container of fireworks, much different price for some reason, right?
Yeah, it would seem that way. I think they were quoted as basically saying that initially, before, he kind of took over the process, they were getting around $5,000 to ship that product. And then it went upwards of $8,000 to $10,000, kind of after he was able to establish a company on the American side, which is, basically you're able to control the end-to-end logistics of all that. So you're controlling the pickup in China, the warehousing in China, the ocean freight in China, and then in the U.S., you're controlling all of the drayage.
So much margin, Chad.
One of the things that I found interesting about this story was you said, well, and I don't know how long ago, but like pretty recently, like a European shipper tried to get in the game, a couple of them, and they tried to say, hey, we're just going to start shipping our own fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hit some roadblocks. What were those? How did that happen?
So Taichung is an inland port, basically up the Yangtze River. And these Danish guys had a startup and, got with some shippers and said, hey, if we put a boat at Taichung and we sell it straight to the to LAX, would you guys ship with us? They got a few shippers on board. They got the boat, they got everything ready. And then the shippers reportedly backed out.
Wow.
And it was alluded to, the LA Times was the one who initially covered the story. Those guys had received letters the shippers had received letters from the Shanghai port officials.
Yeah, they were threatening to not move the goods out of there. So, and it seems like the threats didn't just stop there. And I don't want to give your whole report away. Go to FreightWaves.com. It's up there live as of the 4th of July is when it's going to be on site. But for those of you listening a little bit earlier, listening on July 3rd on the late afternoon on your ride home, and you're too excited to wait, tell us a little bit about the threats that extended into our own borders with the Federal Maritime Commission.
Yeah, so a Federal Maritime Commission officer had received an anonymous letter that was written in broken English. And if you've ever seen,
was it like written up? Was it like one of those poison letters where you cut letters out of a magazine and a newspaper and you like a ransom note?
It was described that way, but I imagine it was just someone who knew very little English, dropped it into Google Translate,
gotcha,
wrote some broken English down. And if you've ever seen any signs where English is translated, sometimes it can be a poor translation.
Oh yeah.
So the FMC official had actually started to investigate, but he could not find the person who had written the anonymous letter, and he also couldn't get any support from any of the shippers because they were quoted as basically saying they did not want to, potentially risk the relationship with Mr. Ding.
Wow. So Mr. Ding has acquired a lot of power.
Ding, ding, ding.
So just know that when you're purchasing your fireworks this year, you're supporting Mr. Ding.
Mr. Ding.
and his empire.
His firework empire.
Sorry to bust your fireworks bubble, but there's a monopoly behind it. You want more transparency in the supply chain? We're bringing it to you.
Henry, you're a big firebug. You like fireworks, and do you like blowing things up?
Man, fireworks. I mean, it is interesting. I labeled it the pyro paradox because here we are. We love fireworks. It's really a symbol of the 4th of July, our Independence Day. But all of these, interestingly enough, are coming from a country where we're in quite a trade war at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And, with it doesn't really look good as far as how this might play out. So,
are they affected, the fireworks, by the trade war at all?
Yeah, what's interesting is this year I found quite a bit of information about a shipping crisis. If you search 2019 shipping crisis, you can actually see a bit of a feud. There was another explosion, and basically, Mr. Ding had come out on WeChat, which I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, no, I am.
Yeah. So it's the social media app in China. They estimate over 1 billion people were on it.
Love it. A lot of friends on there. Probably my strongest social media network.
Yeah, and no kidding. It's interesting because they had a WeChat message posted from Mr. Ding, and he basically halted shipping for all fireworks. Shanghai officials said no more fireworks through there. So now that they have to basically use kind of a river port, fireworks almost didn't happen.
Nice.
Did you ever used to blow up your GI Joes when you were a kid?
Man, kids don't try this at home type of thing. I definitely had them, and I love fireworks quite a bit actually.
Aquanet and lighters was what I would use quite a bit.
I don't really like the sounds though. So I mean, loud noises. Well, it's just
you're like a dog.
I either can have crazy sensitive hearing or something. I don't know.
He's like a 6'8" he's like a Great Dane.
Oh, poor Henry. Someone's always got to allude to his height.
Yeah. I think it was from when I was younger, when a dog at a party I was at when I was probably 5 grabbed a Roman candle and actually went around the party and actually shot me in the leg. And I was I was just,
okay.
I'm sure it was fairly, how they say that might impact you. So.
Thank you for sharing. And have a great 4th of July. We really enjoyed your company. Thanks for sharing the story. And everyone go to FreightWaves.com, the new and improved FreightWaves.com, and read, what is the title of the article?
The Pyro Paradox.
Pyro Paradox.
Pyro Paradox.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Breaking journalistic news. Thanks, man.
5 good minutes.
So we're talking with Ash Prasad of Koi Reader. We're excited to have you on for 5 good minutes. Are you ready to run the gauntlet of our challenging questions?
Well, we're not just here to talk to him. We're here to celebrate, too, because you just got $60,000 in funding on top of, I think you've already gotten, over $500,000 towards
Good times.
Koi Reader.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Ash, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you were vice president at XPO, and it looks like, am I mistaken in saying that you started this company with your brother?
That is correct, yeah.
Oh, wow. He's the CTO, right?
That is correct, yeah, and the co-founder.
So what made you leave XPO as vice president? That's a good position, huge growing company themselves. What made you decide to start Koi Reader, and what is it exactly that you guys do?
We had a startup prior to this, and in that health tech, it was in the health tech space, and we were trying to solve for unstructured data where people's lab reports, immunization records, etc. They're sitting in different formats, different portals. That's where we got the idea of Koi Reader. We were solving for health tech, but we were in the B2C space, and B2C is very, very hard to crack. So at some point, I had to go back to the industry. So I quit, and my younger brother took over, and he and the team has done a fantastic job in creating the technology behind it. And now the technology can be applied in any industry, but due to my background, and I've been just advising him as a family member, but the more I saw the potential of it, it made a lot more sense to me to apply this in logistics and supply chain, logistics, transportation, and supply chain. And the role at XPO was fantastic, but I fundamentally believe that the time of this technology has come. The use cases are massive. It's not just document, it's unstructured data, and applying AI to that. So we will be, when we are back in Chicago in November, that's when we are going to unveil our product.
Ooh.
Well, Ash, a lot of people talk about AI, and it seems like they interpret it in different ways. You mention AI. Can you tell us in layman's terms, how does artificial intelligence apply to this? How does it work?
With document scanning, right? And video scanning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're trying to, so there are two things that I've learned, and I don't think people who operate in the space understand that. There's one camp of Google, Baidu's, Facebook, Microsoft of the world who are doing research. They're enhancing the algorithm. If you're not one of them, then it doesn't matter. Are you a PhD or a simple graduate from some university, but very sharp guy? You can apply AI. The second thing that I've learned is AI is, despite all the hype, it's not accurate. It's not about a year and a half back, it would give you up to 35% level of accuracy. Now I would say it's if you're doing you've got good data sets, got good programming skills, then you can get it to somewhere between 45 to 50%. So the AI essentially helps make sense of data as humans would.
Wow.
Adaptive. It learns. You can train it.
It learns.
Ooh, learning principles.
At about 35 to 50%?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
60,000. So you raised 60,000. What are you going to do with the funding that you've raised? And I think that you mentioned you might be looking to go out to even bring in more seed money. So what's next for Koi Reader?
Yeah. So, number one is this seed money, because I've quit my job. I need to keep the cash flow going, right? So the seed money is just a small part of a big raise that we are trying to do. We're trying to raise $4 million right now in pre-series A.
That's exciting.
Sorry?
That's exciting.
Chad's excited for you.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
And after Transparency 19, we got massive traction, lots of leads. It's amazing stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah.
We've also closed our first deal, so we are post-revenue.
FreightWaves live events where the magic happens. Chad, how many guests have we come on here who have talked about doing a demo or speaking at Transparency or one of our events, and next thing we know, they have tons of money.
Countless. It's all happening. You guys were at Transparency. I know that you had a wonderful demo presentation.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. Little cowbell for you.
Yeah, man. We are so happy for you. We're so proud of you.
It's really exciting what you guys are doing.
I wish you were here in down in Chattanooga at Freight Alley. You'll have to come out this way sometime soon and see what we've got going on in our building, and in turn, we'll have to come out to you. Where are you guys located? Are you another one of the Chicago
You guys are in Dallas, right?
Oh, Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's right.
Freight Tech in Dallas.
Yep. We are in Dallas, and we've got a subsidiary running in Bangalore, India.
Wow.
Fan-stinking-tastic.
Hey, little trivia. Did you know that Terrell Owens, former Cowboys receiver, he went to the University of Chattanooga, Tennessee, right down the street.
T.O. played for the 49ers.
Samuel L. Jackson, too. He didn't play for the 49ers.
Well, he also played, no, he didn't. But
he played
Samuel L.
Jackson.
But actually, T.O. also played for the Dallas Cowboys, bringing it back to Dallas.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Samuel Jackson.
Well, Samuel L. Jackson didn't play for the Cowboys.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he played for the Eagles.
Gotcha.
I'm just kidding. And the Bills.
He did not. Ash, thank you. Continued good luck, and keep us in the loop with what you're doing.
Absolutely. We are very excited with what we are building. Transparency 19 was just the very small portion of what plans we have. But November, we are going to launch a massive product.
The tip of the iceberg.
That's right. You can only get so much into a 7-minute demo presentation. Well, thanks for spending 5 good minutes with us, Ash.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
How about them
bye-bye.
Cowboys?
Big deal.
Little deal. Big deal.
Little deal.
Whoa! We traded the big man for Emily.
It's a good deal.
It was a good deal.
It's a big
deal or a little deal.
Well, Henry was in here telling us about a really big deal. He was telling us about his article that's coming out tomorrow about fireworks and how they're controlled by Mr. Ding.
How about if you want to take the lead here?
Well, I let you go last time, so it's very gentlemanly of you to stay in turn.
Who's winning? Like who?
Remember, there's
no winners
and
and
losers.
no
Yes, we just fill our passion buckets.
Okay. Well then. Okay. So, Dune, are you going first?
I guess so. Yes, I will do it.
Okay. So, Oklahoma to fine freight railroads for blocking their rail crossings. Big deal or little deal?
Well, yeah, it's a big deal. What are they doing blocking rail crossings for? I mean, I know that it's probably not monitored as heavily as it should be, and they need some corrective action. It's sort of like when my kids who, I just brought down from Boston leave their toy trains out in front of their doorway or some Legos and I step on them and it really hurts. They don't really necessarily mean to do it, just being absent-minded, and until you correct them, they need to know. So I guess it's a big deal until they fix it.
Well, it's a big deal if you're sitting there in line and your path is crossed. But, that's a micro look. If you're looking bigger picture here, little deal.
Oh.
The rails, they're privately owned. They're not changing for nothing. Fine them a little bit of money. It's pocket change. They'll just sniff at that.
Another $500,000 fine.
I like your sniff there.
I like that.
Nice sound effects. Okay, Henry was just talking about this one.
Yeah.
Chad, you go first. China shipping more than 90% of the world's fireworks, with nobody else in the top 10 shipping 2% or more.
Wow,
so China controlling the fireworks market.
It's a big deal. It's sad but true. I mean, it puts us at a pyrotechnical paradox, celebrating Independence Day. Right, I just came up with that. Celebrating Independence Day, and at the same time, with having such a strong dependence on, effectively, the Chinese mafia.
Well, you know what? It's a little deal. We talked about him, Mr. Ding. He controls it all right now, and he makes more money than the fireworks companies do. And it'd be really hard to even start building fireworks in the United States or somewhere else. But you know what? The Israelis have like 1.6%. The Spanish have 1.4%. If we came together as an entire world, maybe we could have independence for the entire world if everybody but China decided to do their 1% of fireworks manufacturing, and maybe we could...
I thought you said if everybody bought China.
No, I don't know if you can buy stock.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah, it's a little expensive. No, I mean, you're probably right that it's a big deal, but at the same time, aside from Lookouts games on Friday nights and do we really need fire? Can't we use lasers instead? What happened to lasers?
I don't know.
Show.
That's true. You could reuse the lasers.
Yeah,
fireworks.
Let's do a laser show.
Let's do laser shows. I like it. Okay, Dooner, the return of geopolitical risk. Big deal or little deal?
Well, yeah, I mean, that is a big deal. Like, we were talking about this fireworks thing, and we had the G20 summit. We just came together on trade, and then right afterwards, China shot a rocket out into the South China Sea. We saw North Korea do another test. I have no idea, but I don't want that world.
That is where you're wrong. It's a little deal. I'm just in my ethnocentric little bubble here in the United States. It's all good. I just need to speak my one language and be just keep my eyes right here on what's in front of me.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what? You're wrong, though. Because now people are going to have to pay more money, for geopolitical risk. There's, mitigating risk. There's insurance you got to pay on ocean shipments. Right?
Okay, well, this is something.
Not yet. So
maybe the next one for you will be a big deal. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a little deal. MSC losing its CTPAT certification for getting busted with a record-setting 15,582 bricks of cocaine aboard one of those container ships at the port of Philadelphia. This was a story a few weeks ago.
Their CTPAT certificate. It's a huge deal. You know why it's probably a big deal is because even though that's a drop in the supply chain bucket of cocaine, I'm sure it's a
big drop.
It's a big deal because I feel like this is a sign. There's probably a lot of this going on, and they're probably doing stuff like they're sending a bunch to get busted somewhere, so it takes the eyes away there, and they send in
like Joker, like a diversion.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet that's what's happening. It's a huge.
So that wasn't
deal.
the mother load; that was like the baby load. But there's really a whole bunch of others out there. Containers they're not.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a little deal, and I'll tell you why. Not because of the coke. I mean, coke is a bad thing. We don't want it on our streets, but CTPAT. I've done a CTPAT revalidation for a shipper before.
Oh, yeah?
And anyone who's dealt with CTPAT knows that it never really did anything. It does not help. It does not help clear shipments any faster in my experience.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get sued by or libel CTPAT or anything, but I do want to say that it doesn't help nearly as much as it was promised to shippers. It's something that was put into effect after 9/11, and it was because all of the ports shut down at that time, and it was supposed to be this kind of thing. If there was another big terrorist attack or port shut down, it would move shipments and goods through quicker. However, that never really panned out. That never really proved to be a case. I know we haven't had another 9/11, but we've had other port shutdowns, and I feel like a lot of people have felt like CTPAT has not even helped that much.
Just a little bit of paperwork.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a
lot of paperwork.
whole portal you have to
A lot of
maintain.
red tape.
Yeah.
That's what MSC came out and basically said, guys, this is doing nothing for trade for us, so don't worry when that was revoked.
yeah.
So,
I have to agree with them.
well,
Yeah.
there we go. Dooner, big deal or little deal? Facebook's cryptocurrency Libra?
It's Libra, yeah.
Is that a big deal or a little deal for the supply chains?
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it because first you go cryptocurrency, and I think that a lot of times, especially with blockchain for supply chain, we spent all of last year trying to divorce it from cryptocurrency, right? So people didn't have to think of it in those terms. But now that I guess the fire's kind of died down under blockchain a little bit, it's kind of like when it's good for the, when something's good for the goose, it's good for the gander here. So
Yeah.
now that it's blockchain's coming into fold, and in some ways, yeah, it's a good thing because there is some, it's a world market, global trade, so it does make sense to maybe use a cryptocurrency there. And anything that helps support blockchain is probably good as a whole. I think the blockchain universe is starting to realize.
Okay, so suddenly this has become good thing, bad thing.
No.
Oh, not big deal or little.
It's a big deal.
I think that should be our next game.
It's
It is a big deal.
It's a big
It's
deal.
a big
Good
deal.
thing, bad thing.
Okay, so I think it's a little tiny deal because it's just another cryptocurrency. It's not going to do much for supply chains. Facebook might be behind it, but all they're really going to be stealing is your data.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh, hold on to that.
I did read
Watch
something
out.
funny about it. They're like all of the advantage that cryptocurrency has, which is like being anonymous and not tracking those transactions and everything, is kind of removed by the aspect of it being through Facebook.
Isn't it weird that no one really knows who created cryptocurrency?
Ooh, it was like Satoshi X or something like that.
Which was that a single person? Or-
Yeah.
Was it Mr. Ding?
It might have been.
Okay, well, really isn't fair, so you better pick the right answer, Chad. Big deal or little deal? Dooner's family finally arriving in Chattanooga.
Oh, it's a huge deal.
Backed into a corner.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. I mean, 65 days with having your wife tend the youngins.
Yeah.
Man, she must be a saint. I'm sure things are great now.
A deep
Yeah.
sigh of relief.
No, but you guys have been having a great time showing them around. You joined the aquarium, the Creative Discovery Museum. You got
live in
your
a
own
tank now.
pool to yourself.
And I just go and visit them during operating hours.
This is wonderful. What a huge deal this is for you and your family and everybody.
It's a little deal because it's a little grain of sand in the hourglass of life. It was only 65 days, but what is
Little
65 days
deal.
when you're going to spend a lifetime together and you cherish every moment? Nothing is lost and everything has a purpose. So,
Wow, deep thoughts.
yes.
Deep
Yes.
thoughts here
How
on
old
What's the
are
Truck.
the little ones again?
They're 2 and 4.
Okay. So
And the
He's
2-year-old
4, 6,
talks a
8.
lot more now than he did when I left him.
Oh, wow. I was going to say,
Questions about
because
everything.
65 days is a big chunk of time for having a 2-year-old, because that's a big
Yeah,
chunk of...
out of his
life,
life. You're
yeah.
right. All right, now you're making... Okay, it's fine. It's a big deal, guys. Of
He's
course it's a
sweating.
big deal.
He's sweating. He's
I
in
am
the truth
sweating.
booth.
I
It's
didn't
not-
mean to put you on the spot
It's
like
not
that.
because we're in the hot yoga studio sound.
No.
Okay, last one. Big deal or little deal? Of course, we have a holiday this week, the 4th of July. What do you think, Dooner?
Is the 4th of July a big deal? You know what? No, I mean, I mean, it's great for independence and all that stuff. But I am kind of like effed out on holidays. So to me, I'm kind of in that crotchety period where it's like, I don't know.
It's a big deal. Are you kidding me? It's one of my favorite holidays.
you're right.
I love the 4th of July. It's our 243rd
Wow.
year celebrating
We are old.
democratic independence.
Yes.
And it's one of those fun holidays where it's like you never know who's going to be in town or who's not going to be in town. And so like you might be at home doing nothing by yourself and it's like quiet, or you might have a raging party and have everybody over depending on who's in town. I mean,
Who did
the
you
4th
upset
of
that you got
July-
left home on the 4th of July?
I've just had times where I couldn't nobody was in town. But last year we threw a big old party. It was great.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I stinking love the 4th of July.
You
Only
love
the
the
bad
The
news
Chinese
this time
do
is
too, because we buy their fireworks.
clearly.
Yeah.
The only
Chinese.
bad news is this time I have to drive to Florida on July 4th. So in that I have to
What part
You're
of
driving to Florida
Florida?
tomorrow?
Yes.
How long of a drive is that?
They say the thing says 6.5 hours. It's going to be longer.
I
than
just
that.
drove 16 hours in a
It's gonna be
U-Haul. Well, my
longer.
in-laws did. I
listen,
drove in a Prius.
I'm not driving
I drove
to
in a Prius
Miami.
V.
How many gallons of gas did you use in that Prius?
You know, I only stopped twice. We only stopped
That's
twice.
what I want to know.
No, we only stopped twice for I don't know how many
Wow.
miles it is, but it's like 18-hour drive.
Yeah,
Wow.
you just I think you
That's
just
a
said
big
16.
deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Saving gas on the freeway. I'll be driving my Honda Insight and maybe just go through a tank.
One gas. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
You guys in your savvy cars.
You can drive there and back and still not have driven as many miles as I did. Just saying.
Wow, now it's all in context.
Yeah, now we're going to have a civil war.
Perspective.
That will be a big deal, little deal question for next week.
You have 4th of July plans? What are you guys doing? You're going to Florida, so you'll
be in
already
the car.
have.
Yeah. I think I'm just relaxing.
Yeah.
Taking a nice nap, chilling with my dog.
Chillaxing.
Yeah. We both moved places, so there's not really like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, we've already kind of had our time.
Our little excitement. Yeah. Well, big deal. We'll just be chilling.
All right, well, we know you got to get some work to do.
Yes, I got some.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe not the A-roll, but you got to get to the B-roll.
Okay.
Taking care of FreightWaves TV each and every day.
Coming soon to a network near you.
You're doing the voiceovers for us?
I think I'm doing some Sonar voiceovers soon.
Oh, well, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting another round of Big Deal, Little Deal.
Big Deal, Little Deal. Little cowbell for you. Little 4th of July cowbell for you.
Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Uh-oh, don't fall out of your chair. That would be dangerous. Chad, what is your favorite 4th of July movie?
My favorite film, easier to answer, would be a 4th of July film. My favorite, I'm going to have to say, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Well, it's kind of an Americana film, right?
It came out on an Independence Day.
Did it?
Yeah, and, it's all about, it's about a lot of things, some complicated issues of the Vietnam War. And that, to me, is a great film, period. And a great Independence Day one. Can that one count for me? If not that one, then I would say...
it's got a scene. It's got doesn't the guy lose his legs in that?
Yeah,
the guy who loses his legs.
Sergeant Dan or Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
And then there was also Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise, and I think Top Gun came out on the 4th of
Well,
July.
I was going to pick Top Gun.
Oh,
not
sorry.
Independence Day with Will Smith. I was going to pick Top Gun as mine. And that's because Barry,
Highway to the Danger Zone.
My boss upstairs, creative director of FreightWaves.com, he was wearing an Iceman t-shirt today with Val Kilmer.
Okay.
And I don't want to start any rumors, but they're making a sequel to Top Gun. And supposedly, I don't know if you knew this or not, Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer did not get along because Val Kilmer supposedly bullied Tom Cruise on the set of a movie, which I think was Top Gun. So he's never really gotten over it.
Bullied him in real life and on the screen.
And in the movie.
Wow, I mean, it was effective.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He did seem a little cucked.
Remember the way when he did the teeth? He was like, "That's right.
Oh yeah,
Iceman.
Yeah,
I am dangerous." And then he goes.
Yeah, he showed like how perfectly aligned his teeth were by like snapping them together.
Yeah, and they were. He was a handsome man with his blonde hair straight up.
He was. It's weird when someone's that handsome and they get kind of older and they gain a little weight because then it's like, I don't know. It's just
Tom Cruise got the ultimate revenge on that because he's ageless. He looks like the exact same 40 years later.
Yeah, he was in. Speaking of wars, he was in that future war movie like Edge of Tomorrow, and I always because of like the persona of Tom Cruise, I'm always like you kind of want to dislike him, but then you watch his movies and he's just good.
He is.
He's just good.
He is. I mean, I don't know what he pumps himself full of, like Resveratrol or something. But he's kind of ageless.
He is kind of ageless. You know what is also ageless? Our comment section.
Yeah.
Comment Section Rodeo.
Yeah.
Oh, these are some comments from that 65-mile-an-hour truck speed limiters.
Worked up, Chad.
Yeah, good job stirring that pot, or at least documenting it. Todd Olson writes, awesome, let's create more congestion. If all traffic goes the same speed, there's minimal congestion. Training is the key to safer roads and modification of electronic logs so that everyone is not racing the clock at the same time every day. Oh, he didn't mean it sarcastically. I was. He was like, awesome. Wait, he was. Well, it seemed like he was kind of saying that he kind of liked it.
Oh, at the end there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like he was arguing kind of 2 points at once. Like, some of his things seem like he's saying that all these things are good for speed limits, but then, I don't know. It seems like at the same time he thinks it's going to cause congestion.
If everybody goes the same speed, there won't be congestion. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Man, why can't we, how can we figure out how to make that happen?
I don't know. Electric cars? Automated cars?
Ooh, now you're, I don't know. You're hitting a little low below the belt there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could get people angry too. So, Richard writes in. He says, oh my God, I'm going to have to censor this one a little bit. All right. Anything else you Fs want to control about how much oxygen I breathe or when I use the restroom? How about putting diapers on dogs and cats because they might S on a sidewalk? If you want slower speeds, then lower the speed limit for everyone. Automobiles, including you're all a bunch of paper-pushing CS. I hope that if you do pass that law, that every truck out there just blocks all lane and causes 100-mile backups so I can see the road rage and watch the mayhem. You think slowing trucks down makes safer roads? You're wrong. It can't stop me from running your dumb A off the road or cutting you off or brake checking you or taking my truck out of fear on a steep grade. So you're so effing book smart that you're actually an effing R.
Wow. Richard, I think he's tailgated me before on the freeway.
He he got progressively more angry as he typed that. You know, some people calm down as they yell. He was just working himself up like a turbine. Not a lot of punctuation there. One of those stream of consciousness rants that we tend to get sometimes.
Yeah, let's try this one from Mouse Killer.
Oh, okay. That sounds ominous.
If this 65 mph mandate passes, you will see road rage like never before.
Oh my God.
And you will be responsible for it all.
Oh, no.
If you believe that some companies will use speeding faster trucks to be competitive to the competition, you're not fit to make any calls on anything to do with transportation. The only calls you're competent to make is to go to the toilet.
Huh.
These mega carriers are pulling the wool over your eyes. They have their trucks governed at or near 65 mph for several reasons. Of the many reasons is they have far too many unqualified drivers behind the wheel and on the payroll and know they are unskilled, poorly trained. They have their trucks governed to reduce the fuel consumption, and that reduces cost in operation the company. It also reduces repair costs on equipment, and he was done there.
Wait, he was ranting about this, and he gave 3 good reasons why that's a good idea.
Saves money.
I don't know. He was okay. It saves on fuel. The vehicle's maybe it's a good idea.
Maybe these mega carriers are trying to save money.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, Wayne Jones says, cookie cutter trucks aren't the answer. No. Rate-based paid detention time. Better rates. Hours of service reform. Shipper-receiver time management training. Shipper-receiver penalties. And penalties for extreme reckless violations, which result in serious injury or death, are the real culprits. There is a multifaceted issue that doesn't just include trucks or their operators. We've always had truck drivers which can safely operate at the same speed as four-wheelers, but there's a culture among both 18s and four-wheelers that don't respect safety and adjust to the appropriate driving conditions.
Well, I can agree with that, Wayne Jones.
Yeah, that was sensible.
Multifaceted, thoughtful. Robert Benoit says, all you speedy truckers don't need to run faster than 65 to 70. Racing the clock is an unprofessional excuse made up by those that ran illegal on paper. Trip planning and clock management is what you need to learn. I'm a truck driver, restricted to 65, and been on E-Log since I got my CDL. I have no issue with making my deliveries on time, and the argument most crashes are below 65 is a load of crap. Most crashes happen because you super truckers ride people's bumper. No excuse for following too close. Getting that close doesn't get you there faster. It reduces your stopping reaction and distance. I know because you guys run up on me instead of changing lanes early. You would rather nearly run into or over me and then sometimes make gestures.
Oh, wow. What kind of a gesture do you think? Wave? Do you think they would do toot toot?
One can only imagine. But I mean, again, good points by Robert Benoit.
Yeah, no, and you know what?
In this case.
Maybe, so just to give a counterpoint, so we can sort of bring these people together, and so everyone doesn't have to argue, because sometimes these regulations are going to come through, and a lot of times they do, like ELDs. Even if you don't like it, you have to get on board, right?
Yeah.
But I feel so Robert comes from the experience of he's only driven under these limits, so his company probably understands and respects those, where some of these other ones that deal with, owner-operators who allow for these violations and expect you to drive faster than 65, they may have unrealistic expectations on some of these drivers.
I'll be honest, often when I'm in cities, dense urban environments, and I'm trying to go 70, say, in the passing lane, and there's a big semi riding up on me, it's intimidating, and I don't think it's safe.
Yeah.
I want freedom on the, for everybody, but at the same time, there is truth to it. Be steady, meet the distances you can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll save money on fuel.
John Cook says, I already have speed technology, a cruise control. I think I'll set it at 55 miles per hour and show them what will happen.
Okay.
Hopefully more folks will participate and give some medicine back.
So that's a little passive aggression.
Yeah.
Right?
He's I'm
going to go slower just to show you.
Yeah, you want me to go under 75? You want me to go 65 at the top? I will go 55. How about that?
Well, I mean, it'll be easier to pass.
That's kind of like when and look, I've had that mentality. I was in Catholic school, and when, I had that jug, the Justice Under God detention, and it's like when the brother says, you want 1 day of detention? And you're like, give me 2.
Now, that was kind of Breakfast Club of you.
Give me 3.
Yeah.
That was Breakfast Club. Well, maybe this guy was a big fan of, I don't know, maybe not a fan of John Bender, the principal. Don't you forget about me, Chad. And don't you forget about us.
How could I?
You can find What the Truck on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere podcasts are heard around the world. You can find Chad Prevost at
ChadPrevost.com.
Is that really a website?
Actually, yeah, but no, find me at Chad Prevost on Twitter.
Yeah.
And at Timothy Dooner
on Twitter.
And we're having a great time doing this, bringing it to you as often as possible. Slowing down the cadence a little bit this week during the holiday.
Holidays. There was last week as I was away. We had one this week. It's the 4th of July. We, I don't know about you guys, but around us, it's kind of, it's weird coming back from vacation and everyone is on vacation. It's like people got raptured. There's key critical staff. We got a lot of reporters here. They're covering the story, but a lot of operational stuff already gone. Already gone. Wonder if they'll be here Friday.
They have left the building.
Not us though.
Nope. Working for the weekend.
Working for the weekend, man. So we already kind of discussed that with 4th of July plans. We hope all of you have a happy and healthy 4th of July.
And even though I'll be gathering some sun rays and probably paddle boarding on the coast of Pensacola in Florida, I will be attuned to my Twitter. Why? Because I love it and I like you. So tweet at me, and let's get some conversations going on behalf of What the Truck. What do you want to hear? What are some interesting ideas and topics that you want us to talk about? And where are you? Where in the world are you? Tell us. Let us know where you're listening from. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, Chad. Oh, and don't forget that morning minute. Look up FreightWaves on your iTunes, on your Apple Podcasts, on your Spotify, Stitcher, on your Alexa.
That's right. We're bringing you what is happening right now at FreightWavesNow.com. Check that out.
Yeah.
And FreightWaves Radio on Saturdays.
Yeah. And what do you do on YouTube?
What do I do what?
On YouTube. Subscribe and smash that bell.
Yeah.
You've been listening to What the Truck. Bang your little cowbell for the 4th of July. Bang your cowbell for the United States independence. Bang your cowbell for Mr. Ding's fireworks.
Someone lost my harmonica.
Yeah, your harmonica's right on the ground. Oh, sad harmonica.